Season 2, Episode 2. Protect your capital, build profitable businesses, and let compounding create financial freedom. Aum Namapegavaith Vasudevya. Imagine this. Two entrepreneurs stand before the same opportunity. Both have intelligence. Both have ambition. Both dream of building an empire. One says, "I'll invest everything I own." The other quietly replies, "I'll first protect what feeds my family." 5 years later, one entrepreneur owns a thriving business. The other owns painful memories and years of debt. The difference wasn't intelligence. It wasn't hard work. It wasn't luck. It was one decision made before the business even began. One understood that the first responsibility of an entrepreneur is not to make money. It is to protect capital. Because once capital disappears, opportunities become expensive. If you stay with me until the very end, you'll discover why the world's greatest investors think first about protecting capital. Why profitable businesses are built on disciplined decisions rather than emotional excitement. And why financial freedom belongs to those who master patience before profit. Imagine a mighty fortress. People admire its towering walls, its powerful gates, its magnificent architecture. But hidden beneath everything lies an invisible foundation. Nobody applauds the foundation. Yet without it, the fortress cannot survive a single storm. Capital is that foundation. Many entrepreneurs become obsessed with growth. Wise entrepreneurs become obsessed with protection. Because growth can always be rebuilt. Destroyed capital often cannot. The Bhagavad Gita teaches us that wisdom begins with disciplined action rather than emotional reaction. Lord Krishna repeatedly encourages Arjuna to act with clarity, not impulse, with discernment, not attachment. The same principle applies to business. Never invest because excitement is high. Invest because the facts are stronger than the emotions. Warren Buffett's famous first rule is simple. Rule number 1, never lose money. Rule number 2, never forget rule number 1. Many people misunderstand those words. He never suggested avoiding all risk. He teaches us to avoid unnecessary risk. There is a profound difference. Imagine a captain preparing to sail across the ocean. Before leaving the harbor, he studies the weather, inspects the engine, checks fuel supplies, confirms navigation systems, reviews emergency procedures. Why? Because confidence without preparation becomes arrogance. Preparation creates confidence. Business follows exactly the same principle. Let me tell you a story. A young engineer spent 15 years saving money. His dream was to start his own manufacturing company. Friends encouraged him. Social media celebrated entrepreneurship. Everyone told him, "Take the leap." One evening, he visited an elderly businessman who had built several successful companies. The young engineer expected encouragement. Instead, the old entrepreneur asked only one question. "If this business fails, will your family still sleep peacefully?" The room became silent. The young engineer had planned to invest every rupee he owned. His children's education fund, his emergency savings, his retirement investments. Everything. The elderly businessman slowly poured tea into 2 cups. He pointed toward the overflowing cup. When a cup is already full, adding more tea wastes everything. Then he looked into the young engineer's eyes. Never place your family's security on the same table as your business experiment. That single conversation changed his life. He waited another 18 months, built stronger cash reserves, found reliable partners, negotiated better financing, tested customer demand, started smaller, expanded steadily. 10 years later, his company employed hundreds of people. The dream survived because the foundation survived. If today's message reminds you that protecting capital is the first step toward creating wealth, pause for a moment and write one word in the comments. Protect. Because wealth is built first by preserving what you have, then by multiplying it wisely. Modern behavioral economists have discovered something fascinating. The emotional pain of losing money is often far greater than the happiness of gaining the same amount. That is why disciplined investors spend more time studying downside risk than upside potential. Hope is not a strategy. Preparation is. Imagine a mountain climber. He carries ropes, emergency food, medical supplies, navigation equipment. He hopes never to use them, yet he never begins the climb without them. Great entrepreneurs think exactly the same way. They prepare for uncertainty, long before uncertainty appears. Jim Collins observed that enduring companies preserve their core while stimulating progress. Progress without protection eventually collapses. Protection without progress eventually stagnates. Wisdom balances both. In today's boardrooms, the strongest companies rarely chase every exciting opportunity. They ask different questions. What could go wrong? What assumptions are we making? Can this business generate consistent cash flow? What happens if revenue falls by 30%? The quality of a business often depends upon the quality of the questions asked before the investment is made. Chanakya advised rulers to examine every decision from multiple perspectives before committing valuable resources. A wise decision made slowly is often faster than correcting a foolish decision made quickly. But here's where everything changes. Imagine planting a mango orchard. The farmer does not cut down every tree after the first harvest. He protects the roots. He nourishes the soil. He waters consistently because he understands something timeless. The fruit feeds him for one season. The tree feeds generations. Money works exactly the same way. Spend the fruit. Protect the tree. The Bhagavad Gita reminds us that attachment often clouds judgment. The wise person makes decisions based upon clarity rather than emotion. Business is no different. Passion can give you energy, but profit gives your business life. Without sustainable profits, even the most inspiring vision eventually struggles. Purpose and profitability are not enemies. They are partners. When a business creates genuine value for society and earns healthy profits, it gains the strength to serve people for decades rather than months. If today's message reminds you that protecting your capital is an act of wisdom rather than fear, take a moment to like this video and share in the comments one financial habit that has helped you make better decisions. Your experience may become someone else's turning point. There is another lesson from nature. Look at the honeybee. Every day it collects nectar from thousands of flowers. It doesn't consume everything immediately. It patiently stores honey for seasons when flowers become scarce. Nature never assumes tomorrow will be exactly like today. Wise entrepreneurs don't either. They build reserves during good times, so they remain calm during difficult times. There is another misunderstanding about entrepreneurship. Many people believe borrowing money is dangerous. Debt itself is neither good nor bad. What matters is the purpose behind it and the ability to repay it. A loan used to buy a depreciating luxury item often weakens financial freedom. A carefully evaluated business loan, supported by realistic cash flow projections and disciplined execution, can help a productive business grow. The responsibility is not simply to borrow. The responsibility is to borrow wisely, repay faithfully, and never allow debt to control your future. Remember this: your reputation with lenders, suppliers, employees, and customers is one of your greatest business assets. Every loan repaid on time strengthens trust. Every promise kept strengthens credibility. And credibility often opens doors that money alone never can. Charlie Munger wisely said, "The first rule of compounding is never interrupt it unnecessarily." Those few words contain an entire philosophy of wealth. Imagine two friends. Both begin investing at the same age. The first repeatedly withdraws money to satisfy temporary desires. The second protects long-term investments and allows them to grow patiently. 25 years later, the difference is no longer small. It is life-changing. Compounding quietly rewards patience. It rarely rewards impatience. In today's boardrooms, the companies admired across generations protect cash flow with the same seriousness that they pursue growth. They separate operating capital from emergency reserves. They monitor expenses carefully. They expand only when the business can support the next stage responsibly. They never confuse revenue with profit. And they never confuse profit with cash. Because profitable companies can fail if they run out of cash. Financial discipline is not pessimism. It is professional leadership. Chanakya advised that wealth should always be preserved before it is expanded. Protection, growth, service. That sequence has guided successful civilizations for centuries. History confirms the same lesson. Many businesses collapsed not because demand disappeared, but because they expanded faster than their financial strength allowed. Others grew steadily for decades because every decision was measured against one question. Will this make us stronger 5 years from now? That is strategic thinking. There is another debt we rarely discuss. Emotional debt. The stress of living beyond your means. The anxiety of worrying about the next repayment. The sleepless nights caused by financial pressure. Real financial freedom is not simply owning more. It is sleeping peacefully. Imagine a pilot preparing for takeoff. Before the aircraft leaves the runway, he checks fuel, weather, navigation, emergency systems. He doesn't wait until 30,000 feet to ask whether the aircraft is prepared. Wise entrepreneurs do the same. Before investing, study the market. Understand your customer. Know your numbers. Test your assumptions. Prepare for setbacks. Hope for success. But always plan responsibly. Before you begin your next investment, ask yourself one simple question. Am I making this decision because the numbers make sense, or because my emotions are louder than my judgment? That one question, repeated before every major financial decision, can save years of regret. If today's episode reminded you that lasting wealth is built by protecting capital, making disciplined decisions, and allowing compounding to work over time, subscribe and continue this journey with us. Every episode is designed to help us build wisdom, strengthen character, and achieve financial freedom with integrity. Share this episode with an aspiring entrepreneur or young investor, because one sound financial principle today can prevent countless costly mistakes tomorrow. Together, let us become better individuals, build stronger families, create a better society, and leave behind a better world for future generations. Remember, protect your capital, create real value, pursue profitable opportunities with wisdom, separate business finances from personal finances, repay every obligation with honor, respect the power of compounding, allow your money to work patiently while you continue creating value for the world. Because fortunes may be earned through opportunity, but lasting financial freedom is built through discipline. May we replace impulse with wisdom. Replace speculation with thoughtful preparation. Replace unnecessary risk with disciplined courage. Replace financial anxiety with lasting stewardship. May every honest business we build create value for society, every investment reflect sound judgment, and every financial decision bring us closer to fulfilling our dharma with integrity, responsibility, and enduring prosperity. Aum Namah Bhagavath Vasudevaya.